One final issue as it pertains to choosing where in our homes to daven is the question of davening near pictures, near any artwork or pictures of people. The Shulchan Aruch quotes from the Abu Draham that if one davens corresponding to begodim mitzuyarim, to decorative images, decorative clothing, or any artwork of the sorts, and if you find yourself, that one should avoid doing so, and if one finds oneself in such a situation, then they should daven with their eyes closed. The Ramah extends this not only to artwork or pictures, but to Sidurim as well, that one should not, says the Ramah, daven from a siddur with excessive artwork that may be distracting. We are leaving for now the issue of possible chinuch, that for children in particular, it may engage them in the process. But for one who knows to daven, it is appropriate. It becomes inappropriate to daven from a siddur with images that may distract us. The Mishnah Berurah points out this is all because of the idea of distracting us from kavanah, from being able to focus on the tefillah itself, and accordingly rules that in shuls that have artwork, the artwork should be kept above eye level. Now, Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says even that's not enough. Really, it shouldn't, even above eye level is not so great to have, because typically people oftentimes look up in the context of tefillah, and therefore shuls and people should try to do their very best to have not distracting artwork, and certainly if there is artwork, to try to keep it in places where it is as least distracting as possible. When we are davening at home during these times, so this becomes relevant in a couple of ways. Firstly, when we choose where to daven, so we should take this into account, that if there are any pictures or artwork which may draw our attention and may distract us from the focus of tefillah, then that probably is not the best place to daven. Now, secondly, we had spoken about davening near windows, that there is an idea to daven near windows, and one should make a conscious attempt to daven near windows. However, I heard from Rabbi Aryeh Leibowitz that if it becomes a distraction, that if one chooses to daven in front of a window and that window is a distraction, so that becomes that uproots so much of the purpose, and therefore perhaps it's better to daven near a window where maybe the window is above eye level, or where one that is not directly in front of the window, but rather is able to maintain their focus next to the window, or not looking out of the window. But one should try to choose a window that will not distract them from the tefillah. If that window is distracting, then that uproots much of the purpose of davening near the window in the first place. One additional concern as it pertains to davening near artwork is the question of davening near pictures of people. There's a concern that the Or L'Tzion, or Ben Zion Abba Shaul, brings up, and he suggests that davening in front of pictures of people has an additional problem, because it could look as if one is davening or bowing to that picture. And therefore, he recommends that one not daven even with your eyes closed in front of the picture, similar to the concern we mentioned by davening in front of a mirror. So the bottom line of all of these contexts, of all of these mini shiurim, 3-minute halachos that have to do with choosing a place, it seems that there's two main factors when it comes to choosing a place. First factor is find a place that is most conducive to our concentration on tefillah, in terms of noise level, in terms of focus, in terms of windows, in terms of artwork, etc. But to find a situation, a place, and a siddur that we can best, that's most conducive to putting ourselves in a situation of success as far as davening is concerned, and focusing on the tefillah. And the second is avoiding any possible appearance of bowing down, either to the appearance of davening to ourselves, like by the mirror, or davening perhaps like the Or L'Tzion brings up, of davening to anyone in these images. But those seem to be the two main factors in choosing a proper place. And once we choose that proper place, as we mentioned previously, we should do our best to try to stick to that place as well. Have a fantastic day.